For me. So it's Weeds Day, everybody. It's Jeff Eichen here, and I know you know, and I know you care. So let's go back to my Zoom chat. There we are. So it's me. We have the Cantana Fest coming up. We have Emerald Cup coming up, and my hat, everybody, is 100% hemp. Chris Boucher and Woody Harrelson made the first hemp fucking surfboard, and so maybe they're Borden won in where was it, Indonesia or Thailand, where they were on the Olympics surfing. I saw the girls surfing.
Tahiti.
Freaking cool.
Tahiti.
Tahiti. So Tahiti, thank you. And so that was cool. And I'm going to be mindful of all of our time. I think that we have Scott McKinley here from Cantana Festival. We're really excited to have you, Scott. And that's coming up. And everybody, get your butt to Seattle, to Myrtle Park, Myrtle Edwards Park. That's where HempFest used to be for years. And so we're really excited. Who did we lose? We lost somebody. We'll get him back. So anyway, not I don't take it personal when someone goes out. We'll come back in. So solo Breezy, you already did that. Here comes Jim, and so here we go, everybody. I'm going to play our intro here, and then we'll go do the horn, and everybody can have a spot here. So, so we've got CannaNurse coming in. Yay, we got a woman coming in. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you all here, and we are going to play our Final Cut from Final Cut here for the first time in a long time. So this is our intro, everybody. Enjoy the freaking party here, and Bill's back in, so everybody's back. And here we go. This is our intro. Open heart. And then this part together, we will sing our way to wholeness. We will sing our way to wholeness. And then again, we will sing our way to wholeness. In my lifetime, everybody, we will end Prohibition. Episode 219. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 219. And don't forget all the festivals coming up this summer. And Cantana is in Seattle very, very soon. Hemp Hemp Hooray. And don't bogart that joint. Licensing us. And the first song on our CD for our concert, Relief, in 2025. I really want to let you know that I'm doing my best to hang with the administration that wants to decriminalize or reschedule marijuana. And there's Tommy and his son, and there's Tommy. So thanks to all the fathers and the OGs. So rescheduling it, no. Let's re-legalize it and don't criticize it. Be sure to go to relieffoundation.org and do support us. So don't forget, next weekend, everybody, it's Cantana Fest. Lots of music and information, and in freaking Seattle, and it's not raining. And we may be there. We're working on getting Freedom Grow. And this year, these are the lineups for Emerald Cup down in Oakland, and we're getting ready to do our concert in Oakland next year. So all you swaggers, bring the money. That's relieffoundation.org. And don't forget Peter. Peter's our buddy here who's got Lyme's disease, but he's an OG. you know, he's one of our people, and we love Peter so much. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. And I'll come back to the Zoom chat room here as soon as I can do some technology here. And there we go. Let's see if I can get us back here. Escape from there and go back to Zoom chat. Here we are. Okay. It's a great day here in the neighborhood. Jeff Eichen here with Weedsday, and we have the ghost of Mrs. I Dream of Jeannie. And so why don't you start us off, Jeannie? We haven't seen you in a week or two. Tell us a little bit about the importance of Weedsday.
The importance of Weedsday. We gather every Wednesday, and with our HEMPIC bow mates, we attempt to bring awareness and use media, music, and more to bring awareness and attention and to do whatever we can collectively to free these prisoners from their cages. Edwin Rubis, who, as we know, has spent 36, 38 years of his 40 sentence in prison. And he still has such a positive outlook and such an uplifting and inspiring way of looking at the world and looking at his situation, and yet shouldn't be in a cage. And we know that. So we decided that this just wasn't going to happen anymore in our lifetime, especially in Jeff's. And we're going to do everything that we can to make sure that they are freed. And that once they are, they have some support going forward. The Farmily, as I like to call us. The New Green Farmily will come together and we will support as a family would. And we will be there with resources and with recreation and with music and with media and movies and all the ways that you can use an element to positively uplift and bring somebody up out of a situation. And we plan to give money to the families. You know, if they've been without their family member, or in most cases, somebody who provides, and they're just suddenly uplifted. You know, as they say, when you put a prisoner in jail, you put their whole family in as well. So we want to do whatever can be done to restitute them, to give them back the time that they served undeserved, and give them going forward hope, inspiration, happiness, something that, you know, look forward to. It's not all doom and gloom. There are people that care, and that's what the Weedsdays is, people who care. And I reach out to people all the time, and I know they care. Right now, we've got one eagerly trying to get into the room right now, LaurenceCherniak, author of many hemp books and bestseller on Amazon. He's trying to get in right now. I keep trying to refer him to you, Jeff, but I'm
He
no
called
good
me.
at telling people.
We had a little arm
Yeah,
wrestle there, so I sent him the link, and he'll make it or he won't, and we'll get him one of these days. And thank you
right.
for giving us a props up and for being the genie in a bottle. Everybody, this is I Dream of Jeannie 420, CannaNurse. She helps people with medical and helping everybody, you know, get rid of their anxiety, because this beautiful goddess of ours is very important and special. So thank you so much, Jeannie. And I will give you a little bit of a. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. Sorry about that. Rodimus, was that too loud? Okay. Well, we'll turn that down here. Let's see if we can get it. Oh, yeah, there we go. We can turn that down. So it's really great technology when you got it, when you don't have enough money to have a, you know, back office and somebody to produce my show. We're cool.
Editors deserved it anyway, even if it was loud.
Okay, it was good. Okay. All right. So everybody, we got Lawrence in the room. Welcome, Lawrence, and everybody. It's fun to
Thank
go.
you, thank you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yeah,
Sorry
Lawrence.
for sitting here. I'm just gotta see what this is about.
Jim,
Yeah.
we can hear you too, Jim.
So
sorry about that, guys.
that's okay. We're really excited to have everybody today. It's a casual room that I provide for us. The Emerald Cup's coming up. Cantana Fest is coming up. And let's start because I know that the producers of these shows, we don't have Tim Blake yet from Emerald Cup. He was on a couple weeks ago, but we do have Cantana Fest. We have Scott McKinley. Give a to Scott McKinley. We love having people that are navigating incredible amounts of booths and music and food and energy to help to support the prisoners and support ending prohibition. So give a round of applause for Scott. Scott, step up and say hey and tell us a little bit about your festival and that you're pulling your hair out, but I guess if you take your hat off, maybe you have less than me. But we're really glad to have you. Hey, Scott, what's going on?
I appreciate you having me on. First off, this festival is not a replacement for HempFest, even though we're in the same park as HempFest. But we have 20 different pieces of legislation that we're trying to push through as a Bill of Rights for cannabis workers in our state. Our biggest sponsor is the Washington Cannabis Workers Club. They're part of the UFCW 3000, which is the largest union in our state that covers all healthcare, all grocery stores, and now cannabis. So they're trying to push their initiatives out there. They sought us out and asked if they can sponsor our main stage. We've been partners with them trying to help push their message, as well as my partner on the whole festival is Redman. Redman is really trying to push his sister's initiative, which his sister is the president of the United Empowerment Party. United Empowerment Party is trying to find Senate seats across the whole country in order to try to get bills put in without having to pay lobbyists and actually having to put bills in ourselves with a cannabis representative. In our particular state of Washington, we only need 1,740 signatures, 1,740 votes, and a FEC ID number in order to get on the ballot. So we don't have a candidate. One initiative of our festival is just bring awareness to the fact that you can actually get on the ballot, and it's not that hard if you check all the boxes and have some support behind you. UEP is trying to do that across the whole country. The Washington Cannabis Workers Club is trying to push 20 different initiatives on their Bill of Rights, and we're just trying to unite the community. One thing that HempFest did very well was let people put a face behind a company name and realize there's families building this, families growing this, instead of just corporations pushing for the dollar. And it seems like, especially in our market, a lot of times people forget that and people start getting really ruthless and cutthroat. And it's hard to navigate business when everybody is working in a defensive posture. And I need them to there be a little bit more community involved and a little bit more people trying to help each other. And we're not the enemies of each other. We're trying to keep this legal. So the whole purpose of this festival is just trying to get people to hang out with each other for a whole weekend. We're offering camping to all our vendors so that you can see the faces behind these names. You can actually meet the people out there working really hard with you, because we all chose to do something that's not federally legal. We all chose to do something that could disappear, and we're all trying to hang on to it. And we all know pioneers get killed by the settlers. So our festival is just trying to unite us, try to push descheduling versus rescheduling, and get the Bill of Rights pushed through. So, I mean, we need to galvanize all the different opinions. I have a warehouse that used to have a venue attached to it, and we had a lot of different things happen inside that venue. One of them was a political meeting where we got a lot of all the farm owners all together in the same room. They brought like a senator and another legislative person out, and they brought notes out, and then we're listening to us, taking notes, trying to hear what our opinion was as cannabis people. And it turned into a screaming match across the room between all the different owners. So the legislative people and the senator got up and left in the middle of us talking. It was very embarrassing to see that we're not all on the same page and that we all want different things, and that that's still corporations versus the little guy in every aspect and every manner of it. So unless we get together with big events like these and we start to get all on the same page, it's just going to be a Walgreens and Walmart thing moving forward. So, I mean, we need to save it. And the only way to do that is to communicate with each other and get on the same page and find a way to have a seat at the table and not just pay for lobbyists who just want the money.
So let's tell everybody when it is and what are the hours and how much does it cost to get through the door?
August 8th and 9th are our setup days. August 10th and 11th are our show days. It's free to the public for in Myrtle Edwards Park. Anybody can come. We have 60 performers, 3 stages, like 15, 20 food trucks. It's going to be a really good time. And we're not charging anybody to come. So the vendors that have bought
What are the
booths.
laws in Seattle about cannabis friendly?
We're in a city park, so there's 2 sides to this. One is I am required to post signs saying that you cannot publicly smoke in a city park. 2, I'm also not allowed to kick anybody out of a city park.
Okay, well, we're proud of you for carrying on tradition. Seattle is really grateful and friendly to all these years for gathering for
I'm
420.
going to see if you can need help with this.
And that's cool. And so we're really excited to have you on, Scott. And like I said, I'm buds with Katie May and your team. And if I don't show up because I've got other commitments and I didn't find out about this, I will be partying with you and helping you to end prohibition together. We're doing our big concert. We'd love for your swag and for your people behind you to join us in our 420 event in Oakland Coliseum. So we're really blessed to have you, Scott, and thank you so much for joining us. I know Scott is banged up with production right now, so he just has here for a few minutes. But thank you so much. Any final words, Scott? Any final words?
I just appreciate anybody that wants to come out and see the show. But if you want to participate, we still have, I think, 13 booths left, and a vendor booth that you can camp at for our whole festival is only $500. We made it very inexpensive for everybody because we want everybody to come out.
And how do they get in touch with you? What's the contact?
Just send a message to anything that can, Tana. It all comes straight to me.
Okay, great. And so I'm gonna since you just gave a peace sign, while we have everybody here before we lose Scott, everybody hold up 3 fingers and we'll do our little thank you poster here. 3 fingers for weed, everybody. That's my weed peace sign. Okay, I got it. And yes, I got it. Okay, so it's cool. And we're gonna go straight to one of our OGs here.
Thanks, Scott.
Yeah, Rodimus.
Absolutely.
Rodimus is Scott. Rodimus is formerly known as Grasshopper from the Kung Fu series. Did you ever watch the Kung Fu series?
He's too
Oh,
young.
that's awesome.
Isn't that awesome?
Too young. That's too young.
He was snatching the pebble, So Rodimus lives in Champagne, France, and so they're having the Olympics there now, and so that's kind of got to be exciting. Rodimus, say hello to Scott and the rest of the gang.
Yeah, man. Hi, Scott. Thank you so much for what you're doing. Of course, I won't be able to make it either because of my location problem, but I wish it all goes smoothly for you. And thank you so much for the activism, the awareness raising, and helping to create that communication between people who know that there's power in number. If we all build a bridge back to all the nonsense that has kept us apart for far too long, we need to re-knit that all together. And thank you for what you're doing, and your approach sounds fantastic. So good luck with everything.
I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much.
That's Grasshopper, dude. So we're really excited. Rodimus, say hello to the rest of the gang and tell us how you're feeling these days about regime change.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, thanks, Jeff, for doing the show. I haven't met a couple of folks here. I don't know Lawrence. I don't know Jim. I don't know Bill. I think maybe I've met Bill once before, possibly. I'm not sure. No, maybe not. Okay.
I'm not sure.
On this show? No, never. This is your first time?
Not on this show. This is my first time. I'm a
Oh,
newbie.
okay, great. All right. Well, welcome, Jim. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you.
Welcome, Lawrence.
Thank you.
Hi, shout out to Solo, and of course, CannaNurse, Ashley. So, yeah, I just want to defer the rest of my time to other folks that have not been here before, and I don't want to talk a lot more. So thanks, Jeff. I'm here every week.
Rodimus, would you be willing to take over for me while I go into the little boys' room and interview these 3 gentlemen?
Wow. Okay. Well, that's let me see if I can rise to the occasion. Whoops, that's too high. Okay. How about all right.
So I'll be back, everybody. Praise freeing all the prisoners, and take it away, Rodimus.
All right, thanks. Make it quick, Jeff. All right. All right. Well, first of all, yeah. So the unfamiliar, quote unquote, unfamiliar faces here are Jim, Bill, and Lawrence. So let's go ahead and alphabetical order here. So let's see, B, J, and L, and H, I, J, K. Okay. So Bill, introduce yourself.
Oh,
and,
lucky me. My name is Bill D. Russell. I'm primarily an actor, and I'm also a weed user and a weed advocate. I'm part of a movie that's in production right now called Murderwana, which is about a fellow in a psychiatric ward who gets a hold of some killer weed, and hilarity ensues. It's a comedy, not a gore fest. And because of my involvement in that movie, I was recently invited to go out to Massachusetts the end of August for an event called CannaBrand Connect, which is going to be a meeting of East Coast cannabis influencers, manufacturers, all of that. So they've invited me to come and be a special guest, so I'm going to go do that.
Well, how did you?
I'm hoping I'm doing horror conventions, so I'm hoping to integrate what I know from that with getting involved with what you folks are doing.
The horror of a plant putting people in jail. There you go.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. How did you find your way here, Bill? What's your connection to Jeff and stuff?
CannaNurse.
Okay.
She seduced me with her feminine goddess wiles.
She's amazing. Yes.
Yeah, she is. She is.
All right. Well, Jim.
He doesn't know that I have an agenda, though. He doesn't know that I have a secret agenda, and that's that I wanted him to put this in his movie because I feel like all of us should be in his Screamfest. It is hilarious and spooky at the same time. I said, everybody bring a chair to stand on.
He's an actor. The actors have so little influence over the productions. So, I know the intention is there, Bill, and we praise you for that, but we know what the limitations of being a cast member are versus the production team. So you're off the hook, Bill. No worries, even though it'd be nice if you could help CannaNurse in some way, but we'll leave that between you two. Okay, Jim, take it away.
Hi, how's it going?
Good.
Hey, Jim.
You guys, yes.
Just hello. Just hello. Carry on, Jim.
Okay, you got. So I found my way here fairly randomly. I found out about Jeff through a guy who his name escapes me all of a sudden. Jim Bounds, actually, who does GMC motorhomes. And I was having a chat with him about my motorhome, and it kind of it slid into weed. So I'm 62. I've been smoking weed since I was 13. I moved from Orange County up to the San Francisco Bay Area in '96, right when they were doing the Prop 215 thing. I kind of sat on the sidelines for a decade and then kind of jumped into it because I do a lot of baking, and I'm a chef for like 5 different high-end catering companies around the San Francisco Bay Area. A buddy of mine was trimming some lemon kush, and I was like, oh, this stuff really screams lemon. And I decided to resurrect my great aunt's biscotti ball recipe. She used to do these biscotti balls for the holidays. And I resurrected her recipe using candy making oil so I could parallel or contrast cannabis flavors with the cookie flavors. So I take a lemon kush and make like a lemon poppy seed. I used to call them medicine balls. And I won some awards for those, and I still thought they tasted like grass. So, but what happened was the guys that talked me into entering them in the Sacramento Hemp Fest were a couple of professors from UC Davis, because when I initially made these medicine balls, I brought them to some dispensaries and said, these are great, and they're low dose edibles, but they said, we really need to figure out how much, what kind of potency they have. And this was before anything had to be tested. So I hooked up with these 2 professors from UC Davis, at the suggestion of a dispensary owner, because these were the first guys doing liquid chromatography testing, so they could give you a terpene breakdown on top of potency, purity, et cetera, et cetera. So from there, I kind of was lucky. They lost one of their Bay Area reps, so they asked me if I would step into that position, which was a part-time gig, going to dispensaries, delivery services, ranches, edible makers, concentrate makers, anybody that was doing a high-end type of stuff, or anybody that wanted actual testing of their product before testing was really necessary. So I had a backstage pass back in the day of seeing who was doing what. And I would be the guy that went out and labeled their products, send them off. I would send them off to the lab and go over the results when they came back. That gig led me to like the third largest edible maker in the state at that point, which was Auntie Dolores. And I kind of took her from going from mom and pop to light industrial, because I have a background. At the time I was working with Starbucks. They had just bought out a large French bakery, and they were trying to turn, they were trying to mass produce French pastries, which wasn't the greatest idea, but that's another story. Let's see. So from there, so I was working for Auntie Dolores, and she knew that I had won awards for my edibles, and she wanted me to kind of fold them into her line, I think. And I was going, no, I'm not going to do that yet, because I'm working on extraction work right now. After seeing the different extraction processes, I figured that butane was the best way to get a good essential oil, the truest, in my opinion. And again, all of this is just my opinion. The truest, essential oil came from butane extraction when it was done correctly.
You got one more minute. You got one more minute, Jim. Go for it.
Okay. So I'm glad you're cutting me off. Anyways, long story short, I recently got raided by the police because I was making an alcohol product called One and You're Done, which I would take a 10 strain cannabis oil and put enough drops in it based on a patient's tolerance to put them out on the couch after one cocktail versus having another 8 and driving. So I've been in the court system now going on 5 years. So we're supposed to go to trial in the near future.
Wow. Well,
So that's a very condensed version.
Thank you. All right, and we've also got LaurenceCherniak. You're on, man, and then we'll get to Solo Breezy and his wonderful poetry that he shares with us. Lawrence, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Well, a little bit about myself relative to the community that we're all a part of. Started in the 1960s when I was rehearsing to tour with the Winter Stratford Touring Company out of Stratford in Canada, doing 12 Nights and Arms and the Man by Bernard Shaw. And so my girlfriend at the time was a North American Indian, and she took me to a church where she actually had a marijuana plant growing in the 1960s that the church, of course, didn't know about. That led to one thing after another. And ultimately, a couple of years later, I started the first head shop in the world with that name. So I'm responsible. And as a result of my books, some of you may know the Great Books of Hashish. And so that's book 1. And then things got that intense as the 60s went by. And it was not in any way, shape, or form smart, wise, or convenient to still use the word hashish, because the Bush family was cracking down so hard on users that they were actually confiscating all the merchandise out of many of the stores that my wholesale business had moved into as regarding the products that I was designing, which were starting with the first of the Cherniak cigarette papers, which were produced by the same people who produced bamboo. These were produced in 1966 or 65 or somewhere around there. And they were a purple cigarette paper. Jane Fonda used them
Antiques.
in Clute. What's that? You're welcome to interrupt me. I can handle that.
No, we saw
That's all right.
we saw Clute.
I was at an event a little while ago of about 100 people, and it was the first time they'd ever had someone offer to interrupt the keynote speaker and come up onto the stage with me, because I had a pipe there with a bowl of hash that they're welcome to come and have a hit of. And in the 45 minutes that I was giving my keynote address, not one person came up and had a hit of hash. And even though several of the people who were there were telling each other, go up there, go on, best hash in the world, nobody came up, but they did get to me afterwards. And of course, I traded with several people. So the head shop became quite a great adventure. And of course, that led to all kinds of things happening. And today, being with you all, just so once again solidifies that a lot of my goals, not dreams, but a lot of my goals are coming true, because, you know, that first time that, you know, I encountered cosmic consciousness, it was very interesting to see in my mind how I was thinking, geez, how many people don't know about this, and what else are they pulling the wool over our eyes about, and how this has got to stop, because we really need to have everybody being much more informed. And of course, today, thanks to the internet, that's what's happening, and we're all moving along beautifully together and accomplishing some amazing things. Some of the other cigarette papers that I designed, because it was easy for so many people who would like to be a part of this, call it an industry, call it a community, you know, to the bongs that I was having, you know, glass bongs, that not bongs only, but pipes, you know, were easily being ripped off. But it was not easy for people to rip off a cigarette paper, or cigarette papers like the leopard skins that I had made, or the Canada Goose ones that I had made with maple leaves and marijuana leaves. And of course, it was great to take advantage of every opportunity for whatever's happening. And then there was the Watergate papers; they were great. And yeah, and there was the chief right there. Right?
Watergate papers, I love it.
Watergate papers, right? With lots of headlines on them, right? All kinds of headlines.
Wow.
So I did all this artistic stuff, and it was really great. Of course, it influenced a lot of.
You are an OG, dude. You are a
freaking
OG.
Yeah, it influenced a lot of people around me who I thought were my friends, who were, you know, considering me to be, you know, either a necrophiliac or some other lowly creature that didn't deserve to be on the face of the earth. And of course, several people have come to me and apologized since then, and I had to be gracious and tell them it was all right, even though they did their best to really mess me up and make sure that, you know, that I did not succeed in anything else I was doing on the artistic world. But I fooled a lot of them and just persevered and endeavored to, you know, go forward, and did so. So book 2 at that time was called The Great Books of Cannabis. Now it's called The Great Books of Hashish once again. And you can see there's some great coming out of the meat grinder, which a lot of people have learned to use to
where
really
can people find that book?
Pulverize their hash and make it more solid and more consistent. And in September, we've tried to do it a couple of times this year, but the lady in
Where can people find your book?
They can buy them directly from me, because booksellers sell them for exorbitant amounts of money. They've sometimes in the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And then I did another book.
Email? Do you prefer email, or we give our audience a little
right under his face, Jeff.
What's that again? I didn't hear you. That Roland, or is that your name? What's your name?
I'm just trying. Sorry, Lawrence. I'm just trying to clarify with Jeff that you've got your address right there on your image. Anybody wants to?
Okay, I see it here, everybody. It's GreatBooks at LaurenceCherniak, CHERNIAK.com. So it's Lawrence, LAURENCE, Cherniak.com. Great books at LaurenceCherniak.com, everybody, and support Lawrence. We'll invite you to come to our show in Oakland, and we'll have you there. All the OGs, you know, like Lawrence. This is Jeff speaking here, host of the show today. You know, Andy Warhol said, you know, you need your 15 minutes. Well, here you are. We were so blessed to have you on our show. We're at we're going around the world.
Yeah, I turned Andy on in Thomas Prasad's office at High Times when I was their international correspondent. So one of my photos is on the most sold issue. Wow. On the cover of the most sold issue of High Times magazine. I've had more centerfolds in High Times than anybody.
Oh man, we love you. We're going keep you in our back pocket, man. We're going to keep you on the Farmy. You are now going to you're going to get a Farmy jacket.
And it's a pleasure. And it's a pleasure to be able to share these things in a real frank and candid manner, because that's what we should all do. We should all be able to, feel that we're accomplishing things that we would like to, and then be able to share them with each other so that each other feels inspired and encouraged to pursue our goals, not just our dreams, because then people can sometimes, who don't know you, say, oh yeah, he's a dreamer. But if you talk about your goals, so as a result of being a writer and an actor and a director, then I know how to be careful with the words I'm using as a long time habit. I mean, that's one of the things that Jack Harrer and I really got along about. He just loved some of the stuff that I've written, and that's what he would tell me, was that I'm a writer, not just an author. He was an author, I was a writer. But it has nothing to do with that. When he and I took him on a trip around Europe years ago, and we had a great time. And he had to walk all the time with his arm on one of my shoulders because he was still recovering. And I went down to see him in Burbank when he was first recovering from his first stroke. And it was just great to watch how I got him to whistle and, start to use his body and to do things, because he couldn't talk well. But he would look at me every time he would talk to Jeannie and say something to her to see did I understand what he was saying? And then was it conceivable that Jeannie would hear would understand what he was saying? So Jack and I had some really great time. I have more photos of Jack and I in happy moods than anybody has, I'm sure, as well. So anyway, this is another book that I did with the Dronkers family, which is Hashish, the Joy of Making and Curing. And then there's also book 3 of the first 3 books. And so that's it. And that's once again, Kathmandu and Nepal. And so in September,
everybody, great books at LaurenceCherniak.com. Thank you, Lawrence, for your support and your legacy. We'll do a legacy show with you one of these days. We're now buddies. We're now friends. And I did know Jack also. He was very, very instrumental in
wonderful sweetheart.
Learning about reform and stepping up with Ed Rosenthal and Captain Kirk. The whole show down in LA was my heart. We were on Wilshire Boulevard every month doing Honk If You're Hempy and having bands out there. So we're glad to have you finally. Welcome aboard. And where are you now? Where are you, in Seattle?
No, I'm on Whidbey Island. Remember we were talking about that a few weeks ago.
Oh,
you're down near Port Townsend?
Yeah. I'm in
Port Townsend.
Right? I'm in Port Townsend, buddy boy. Right. We'll get married. I'll come over and visit you. We'll have some wedding cake. That's a strain. Wait. That's a strain I won't let Kim smoke because it got her grumpy. So all strain. This is a message to everybody with a partner. Find the strain.
Well, thanks for giving me a few minutes. I appreciate it. And I'm glad to share it with you.
Thank you so much, Lawrence. Lawrence, we're going to play with you down the road, and I'm going to get back so Rodimus can come back up. Let's do Solo Breezy first. Rodimus, introduce Solo Breezy. Yay! Wait, hang on. That's for Lawrence and all of his incredible dedication to the weed.
And hashish. Special here today as well. We have these incredible founders / promoters / innovators / figure outers / performers, and we also have somebody new, and that is Solo Breezy. Solo Breezy is new, relatively speaking, on the cannabis scene. He is a dedicated cannabis activist, fledgling. He shows up on this show every week, and he shares a couple of really amazing little quotes. I said poetry earlier. It is poetry, but they're quotes that make us think and center ourselves. And Solo is really good at finding those. So with no further ado, Solo, would you come and say hello, unmute yourself, and share with us one of the lines that you have created or found for us today? Thank you.
Hey, nice to meet everybody. All fellow stoners in here. Happy to meet everyone. The quote for today, real simple. Today is be about 10 more times magnorminous. So be magnorminous. That means like grand, all that cool jazz in a bag of chips. Then you believe yourself capable of. your life would be 100 times better.
And who's that quote by? Who's that attributed to? Who's the creator of that
That's
quote?
just some random. That's just an unknown quote. Unknown quote.
Oh, anonymous. Okay, anonymous. Okay, sorry, I didn't get that part earlier. Sorry.
So that says, be careful how much you smoke because you may eat too many potato chips?
No, Jeffrey.
I don't think that. I don't.
Jeffrey. Jeffrey.
So, Solo, why don't you read that again and read it a little bit slower, and so we can hear it and bring it into our hearts. So, everybody, this is Solo Breezy.
As Bill's director would say, once more with feeling.
With feeling, yes, absolutely.
Go for it, Solo. It's you're on again. Slower with feeling.
With feeling.
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing everyone. I'm having like Wi-Fi connection issues.
Oh,
But
okay.
I'll read it again. Be about 10 times more magnanimous. So, or magnanimous, that means like amazing, more outer, more exciting than you believe in your own self, your own capabilities. Your life would be 100 times better.
Nice.
Exactly.
Be magnanimous. Go be
Magnanimous. Yeah.
That's right. Yep.
That's
That was
right.
magnanimous of you, Solo. Brilliant.
Enormous. Even enormous.
No, magnanimous.
Magnorm. How about CannaNurseNastassia? You know?
Hey, there we go.
There we
Hey.
go.
CannaNurseNastassia. Okay, everybody, it's time for the Canna News. We can go over a little bit today, and we got Rodimus. Do you have the Canna News pulled up? Okay, we got 2 thumbs up. Thank you, and we'll do some last quotes here in a second. Canna News, come on in.
All right. Hi, I'm Rodimus Paraf, sometimes known as Grasshopper, from my past work that I did in the movie business. The source of the teacher-student relationship, which was later seen in Star Wars with, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke Skywalker, later seen in Karate Kid, later seen in other movies that had that. That all started with a TV series called Kung Fu ran from 1972 to 1975. And I was just lucky enough to be able to play young Kane in all the flashbacks. I had a shaved head and all that. So that's my background. I'm just going to go ahead.
Wait. You were a childhood actor, dude?
Jeff, come on, man. You know that. All right. So
that's pretty fucking cool.
Hey, isn't it though? It's amazing. I can take no credit for it. Okay. All right. Here's today's.
Well, you should.
A Republican senator says he's supporting sorry, let me start again. I got femfoofled there. Okay, here we go. A Republican senator says he supports creating a comprehensive regulatory framework that treats marijuana just like tobacco, arguing that the federal government needs to figure out a safe way to allow this market to occur. Senator Tom Mills, Republican of North Carolina, shared his perspective on cannabis policy issues in an interview with Green Market Report that was published on Tuesday. He was asked about a bipartisan marijuana banking bill and ongoing rescheduling efforts, but took the opportunity to share his broader views on what needs to happen with federal cannabis laws. The senator says he feels the reason the Secure and Fair Enforcement Regulation, or SAFER, Banking Act that cleared committee last September is not moving further to a floor vote is because, quote, we're not taking a look at the broader issue, unquote. Tills voiced concern about public safety issues with vaping products and the presence of illicit grow operations in states that have enacted legalization. But rather than cite those concerns and justifications for prohibition, he instead argued that those problems underscore why, quote, we need a comprehensive approach to this, unquote, that involves federal regulation. Banking, to me, is one thing we should consider, but not until we have a federal framework that states can choose to opt into or opt out of, he said. There's a lot of bad happening in plain sight that we have to end, and then let states to choose to legalize it for better medical use or for recreational use, unquote, via the legislature or ballot process. Asked whether he supports the Biden administration's proposal to move marijuana from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 under the Controlled Substances Act, Tills said he backs, quote, a comprehensive regulatory framework that treats marijuana just like tobacco. That regulatory framework should ensure that crops are tested, illicit operators are stamped out, and agencies like the Food and Drug Administration FDA, are involved in ensuring that products are safe for consumption, he said. We've got to get this under control. We have a majority of states that either have recreational or medical marijuana. We have to understand that this is a market that is going to exist and it's going to persist. So the federal government needs to figure out a safe way to allow this market to occur. Hallelujah to the Republican from, what state was that again? From North Carolina. Amazing. Now there's more to this story, but I'm going to jump ahead to something about Kamala Harris here, which is something new. Former President Donald Trump is going after Vice President Kamala Harris over her prosecutorial record on marijuana, claiming that she's, quote, put thousands and thousands of Black people in jail for cannabis offenses. But the full record of her time in office is more nuanced. Trump's line of attack, while misleading, surprise, is nonetheless notable in the sense that the 2024 Republican presidential nominee is implying that he disagrees with criminalizing people over marijuana and is moving to leverage the idea that Harris played a role in racially disproportionate mass incarceration. She was a bad prosecutor. She was a prosecutor of Black people, Trump said in an interview of Fox News that Ingram's Angle that aired on Monday. She put thousands and thousands of Black people in jail over marijuana. But when it came to big crime, murders, and everything else, she was weak. Psychedelics may provide such, no, that's an ad. How did that ad get in there, Jeffrey? Thank you. The narrative that Harris aggressively prosecuted people over cannabis during her 7 years as San Francisco District Attorney and later California Attorney General has followed her ever since she last ran for the Democratic presidential nomination in 2020. Now that President Joe Biden has exited the race and Harris has become the presumptive nominee, it's resurfacing. Trump's spin on it is particularly exaggerated, though. How many people were actually convicted and jailed over marijuana under Harris's prosecutorial leadership? While Trump claimed there were thousands and thousands of examples of Harris putting people in jail over marijuana, typically the criticism has been based on an allegation that the San Francisco District Attorney's Office, under her leadership, incarcerated more than 1,500 people on cannabis-related convictions. Right. That lower figure is still misleading. Data from the office that was featured in an investigative report from the Bay Area News Group showed that there were 1,956 convictions for misdemeanor and felony marijuana offenses from 2004 to 2010 when Harris led the office. But the number of people who were actually sent to prison, state prison, was 45. That said, it's unclear how many people were sent to county jail, so the total figure may be higher. Our policy was that no one with a marijuana conviction for mere possession could do any jail time at all. Paul Henderson, who headed up narcotics prosecutions under Harris, told Bay Area News Group. During Harris's time as Attorney General of California from 2011 to 2017, meanwhile, the Washington Free Beacon reported that statewide there were at least 1,560 people who were sent to state prison over marijuana, primarily for sale or possession with intent to sale conviction. That, again, that's gibberish. Sorry. Didn't write this stuff. While Harris would have played a more remote role in those prosecutions compared to her time as district attorney, the record has also lended to criticism, including from then Republican Tulsi Gabbard, then Representative Tulsi Gabbard, Democrat of Hawaii, who drew attention to that record on the debate stage while competing for the 2020 Democratic presidential nomination. Of course, Harris's prosecutorial record, say that 3 times fast, is just one part of her history on Canada's policy issues. During her time as San Francisco DA, she voiced support for medical marijuana, but she opposed adult use legalization. And when she was campaigning to become California's Attorney General, she proactively campaigned against a 2010 legalization ballot measure. Harris was later openly dismissive of the reform, at one point laughing off a reporter's question about the potential policy change. Much has changed since then. That was 14 years ago. She sponsored a comprehensive federal legalization bill in the Senate, and she's calling for ending prohibition altogether as recently as this past March at a roundtable event with pardon recipients, where she also called on the DEA to quickly reschedule cannabis, as the Justice Department has since formally proposed. If elected, Harris would become the first president who openly supports marijuana legalization, and a list of potential running mates that she's reportedly considering also includes a majority who share that position, as well as some who have signed legalization into law in their state. And there's more, but that's going to round it up here. That's going to end. We're going to end the Canna News on that positive note. And I thank you for listening. That has been the Canna News for today's episode of Weedsdays, brought to you by Rodimus Pro. All right.
May I give a little footnote? And cannabis should not be put in the same category as tobacco and alcohol, which is also what they're trying to do, because in that same category is dangerous firearms. Just like tobacco and alcohol are different from each other completely, so is marijuana completely different than tobacco and alcohol. So it's just them playing the same old usual games. And that's what we have to do, help them to be more informed that marijuana is a spiritual substance. Thank you.
It's a plant just like peyote and psilocybin.
Ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca, thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
Banisteriopsis copy, etc. So yes, I think part of there's different people trying to make things work from different directions. And while I agree with you completely, Lawrence,
Money.
I was just about to say banking. People who have cannabis businesses can't actually make deposits in federally certified bank accounts until there's a federal policy that allows it. So maybe hello? Maybe someone is trying to.
That's okay. Just a call from my dear wife.
Oh, do you need to take that? Go ahead.
Nope, it's all right. She's upstairs.
Anyway, I'm sure that your perspective.
Anyway.
I'm sure that your perspective, Lawrence, is much more nuanced and richer and has much more weight than my opinion. So I'm not even going to voice my opinion. I just know.
Well, I'm not comparing. That's not what we're doing.
I know that.
Comparing.
I'm not comparing either. I'm deferring to your time focused on this.
I can take that.
Stanzi or Constance Carlson Cherniak.
Okay,
I'll
well,
call you
there's
back in a few minutes.
All right. Anyway, so Jim, you've been offline for a bit here. Did you want to chime in on anything that's pertinent to what you've heard as far as the news, or anything else that I didn't give you a chance to finish earlier?
Well, I think the government, if they're going to, worry about the safety of cannabis, they should maybe consider opioids and things like that as well. But nothing. Nothing. Yeah, I mean, it was my first time tuning in, and I did it, just to see what it was about. I'm getting ready to, fight a battle with the district attorney in Sonoma County over my, freedom, as far as doing extraction work and helping patients. So, once I started doing extraction work, I never looked back, and as the deeper I got into it, the more people I found I could help. By blending 10 strains of cannabis oil together, you cover such a wide cannabinoid swath that I've helped people shrink tumors. I've helped people with Lyme disease. I've helped people with PTSD, with opioid withdrawal. Like I say, I was working on a little solution or everything's a Band-Aid at the end of the day, right? We know how it all ends. So it's the most effective, it's finding the most effective Band-Aid for the person.
Yes, let me interject a question here, because we are all on the same page and understanding most of what you're saying. I'm concerned about your legal defense. Have you found good representation to take you through the next step?
Well, here's the deal. The lawyer that I've had for 30 years, which I haven't needed for a long time, he was down in Long Beach and retired. Now he's up in Oregon, but he's reinstating his paperwork so he can help me. I've been through 3 public defenders just because in 2019, when they passed they passed it in 2018, but when recreational became legal in California, I said I was going to be stepping back from that situation because I knew it turned into a huge clusterfuck, and with all the greed and stupidity, and people thought they were going to get rich all of a sudden. And I don't know of one person that is still standing that I knew in the beginning of this situation with a company. They've all been driven out or driven under or whatever. So I stepped back from that and pulled my stuff out of dispensaries. I used to operate under a label called Oil Well Extracts. And I told patients that, I would still work with them, but what you would do is pay, most of the time I gave oil away a lot. And if people could afford to pay me, I would say, pay me for consulting, and I'll source your oil and get it to you for free. In 2019, I started a documentary called Free Earl, which, if you don't know, the slang term for cannabis oil is Earl, ERRL. And the name of the doc, I said to myself, how could I forward the cause now? Because it's going to be a mess for, you're going to have to wait for Cannabis 4.0 to do anything of real value, in my opinion. So activism was the thing. I said, I'm going to do a documentary called Free Earl. It's called Free Earl. The tagline is doing God's work with the devil's lettuce, because that's what everybody used to tell me. They tell me you're doing God's work. And I said, yeah, whatever.
That's why
yeah,
you need a representation who has very, very fine understanding of marijuana laws. Jeff has mentioned Jack Margolis in the past. He's been around many, many years defending people for pot offenses. I hired him years ago when I came up with something that related to a cannabis arrest.
That was Bruce Margolis.
Excuse me, Bruce Margolin. Pardon me, Bruce. Thank you, Jeff.
Margolin. Yeah.
Bruce Margolin. Sorry,
Okay.
Jack Margolis is somebody else. Sorry, Bruce Margolin. Yeah, confusing to people. Thank you, Jeffrey. Bruce Margolis. Margolin or Margolin?
Margolin, I believe.
Okay. You need to check. You need to check that person out, only because this guy is he's an OG, just like Lawrence. Just like Lawrence, this guy has been in the trenches from the beginning, defending people way, way before cannabis was legalized. We're talking back in the 70s and 80s. Okay, so
do you know where he's out of, or where does he operate out of?
I think he's in LA, right, Jeff?
He is right on Sunset Boulevard. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that would be somebody who I would at least call and talk to one of
Bruce Margolin, and pot attorney or marijuana attorney or cannabis attorney, and he's in LA, and he's an OG. I see him every year at Bhakti Fest, and he's getting old, but just like all of us, he's there for you.
Yeah, and he's
maybe
working.
Maybe we can talk. Yeah, maybe we can talk after. Maybe we can talk after this, and I can get that information. I'm actually helping a guy unload a truck right now, because that he bought a bunch of stuff at auction. A buddy of mine who I haven't seen in 25 years, but I wanted to peel away and do this just to see what it was all about. Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I've got to go for today they denied a continuance because the lawyer that I was working with doesn't have all of his paperwork in order, and I really feel like I'm getting pushed, into a direction of, I mean, I could live with the deal that we worked out, except it's not really solidified on paper the way I would like it. But the other side of this coin is that, I have a photography and videography background. I used to have a gallery in San Francisco and have sold hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of artwork. And, I took a 15-year hiatus from doing a lot of things just because I went so far down the wormhole of cannabis. And found out how much good it could do. And really during the pandemic, that I saw a lot of people fall into alcoholism badly, and that's when I started thinking about this one and you're done product. But long story short, my documentary did not have any drama. So when the ABC stung me, they did an undercover sting asking for moonshine on Craigslist, which my moonshine mentor at the time said you should answer that and see what they're all about. Because I was just taking the moonshine that we were making and making limoncello, and I did a few more batches because of the pandemic as a sterilizer or disinfectant. But long story short, I didn't have any drama for this documentary, and lo and behold, the California ABC comes in and gives me that on a silver platter. So I'm not really sweating it, but I would love to go to court on the thing and defend myself the way because I've got proof, it's all over Facebook that I've done consulting for extraction companies all over the country. I build, modify, and maintain machines. So
the really I can give you some compassion, empathy, and friendship here is that you don't deserve to go behind bars. You don't deserve to go through this. We don't want to really raise thousands of dollars to pay a lawyer to do bullshit that should have been done in 1937, and marijuana should have never been legal. Everybody, this is Jeff with episode 219. We're really glad to have everybody on board, and that it's really bullshit that you're going through this. We have a heart for you. I can't imagine what you're going through.
No, it's not that bad. I've been through worse. And to be honest with you, if I had to go do, a few months to a few years in prison, I would, it'd be interesting for me as a chef to check out commissary cuisine, maybe make some nice toilet wine. Who knows?
Toilet wine sounds good. We need to eat toilet Yeah. Well, Rodimus actually, Grasshopper, you're sitting next to, is in Champagne, and that's one of his specialties. He knows a lot about
Toilet wine.
Toilet wine, really?
no,
It's bidet wine. It's bidet wine, I think.
Oh,
in
right,
France.
over there it is. You're right. Yes.
It's bidet.
Any final words? Any final words, Jim?
No, thank you for having me. I'd appreciate some information because I would love to hand the DA back, his head on a platter, just because I think I've got a strong enough defense, but unfortunately the attorney that would fight for me can't right this second. And the public defenders are just like, well, I've talked to
No
a
public
person.
defenders. No public defenders.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Bruce will help you. If Bruce is still operating, man, he'll help you. He's Tommy's buddy, Tommy Chong in the Pacific Palisades. So
we're gonna have some info for you, Jim. We need to close the show down. But Bill, any last words from you?
Getting back to the politicians and weed, one of the things that I always loved was, if everybody remembers this, when Bill Clinton was running for president, there was a minor controversy that he had admitted to trying marijuana in college, if everybody remembers this. And his response was,
he didn't
yes, I tried it, but I didn't inhale. And all I could think of was, why would we elect a president who doesn't even know how to smoke a joint properly?
Right.
We've come a long way since that was an issue.
Thanks, Bill. Hey, Lawrence, any last words from
If
you?
I may interject, Jim, if I may interject, there was a lawyer who worked with Michael Kennedy. Does everybody know Michael Kennedy? That
Yes.
was the lawyer who helped to start High Times magazine with Tom Prasad. So there's a lawyer who worked with him who has been in touch with me just a couple of years ago, and he's pretty cool. So if you'd like, Jim, you're welcome to get in touch with me, and I'll make an introduction for you to him. And he
Lawrence,
seems like a
why don't
pretty
you put your
reasonable.
phone number in the chat box, which is private to the public, and then Jim can reach it from the chat. Before we turn the show off, Jim, you guys exchange information, and then Jim, I'll give you Bruce Margolin's information. And everybody, thank you for a real nice
I
show
appreciate
today.
it. Thank you.
Real nice show today. I like new people coming in, and I like.
Where do I put the phone number? I'm not sure.
In
where
the
I put the
chat
phone number.
here, I'll give you a chat here, right here. Hang on, I got the chat up here.
In chat, right there we go. There, I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you everybody today for joining
And
us.
I'd also like to be in touch with the gentleman from France as well. So if we can do that, parce que j'aime beaucoup la France et le champagne là.
Did you hear that,
You
Rodimus?
understand French?
And
Rob-
Jeffrey, I might have to get back to you on some of this information because I'm on my iPhone, so I'm not seeing a lot of the things I think that.
Find me. You know how to find me.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, I see it there. Cool.
There it is.
Rodimus?
I would like to thank Lawrence. I would like to thank you so much for coming on the show. And Bill, Spooky Bill, we would like to thank you for being on the show. Thank you all
My
so
pleasure.
much
Thanks for
being here.
having me.
Thank you for
Yep,
coming.
great pleasure.
I know it was
Good pleasure.
I've been calling out to you and I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Are
And you
Everybody,
did that
don't
with me
miss it.
too, so thank you. Thank you
Don't
for
miss
doing that with
don't
me
miss it
too.
and don't miss the books.
Yeah, everybody. The books are at GreatBooks at LaurenceCherniak.com. And Jim, we're supporting you in your freedom. CannaNurse,
I appreciate that.
we're supporting you, CannaNurse, and your swag and what you bring to our, guest hostess, the hostess with the mostest,
Now,
and-
baby.
And Solo Breezy. Solo, do you have a final quote for us for the day?
Absolutely. It's been a great show, by the way, everyone. Quote for today. Money and success don't change people. They merely amplify what is already there.
Amen.
All right.
Amen. Okay. My final words for the
And
day.
thank you, Jeff. And thank you, Jeff.
I appreciate you all.
Yes, thank you, Jeff.
Episode
Yes,
219. All the OGs that were in today, it's important to be heard. It's important to be immortalized on film. That's what I guess, you think back to all the movies you've ever seen, from I don't know, The Chariots, you know, whatever, all the movies, you know, Wizard of Oz, from all the movies, it's time for us to make our movie. Everybody,
Yeah.
look out for Cantana Fest next week, everybody. We had Scotty on, and that was fantastic, Scott McKenzie. And we have Emerald Cup coming up. We're going to go down to Emerald Cup and do a show from there. So come on our show, you guys, while we're down there on the 17th.
Jeff, let's hook up when you come down. I'm literally 20 minutes away from where it's happening.
Come help us.
Where is it happening?
It's at the convention center in Oakland.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm right over there.
Okay, so everybody, be careful what you smoke, how much you smoke, and share the goodness of love. My shirt says, I think it says, what are you grateful for? So think about that and help the prisoners come home, everybody. We're going to help with legislation. We're going to raise a lot of dough through our concert, everybody, for 2025. We're working on super duper superstars in the industry to have them on stage to sing for you. And we'll have some booths there. We'll have some swag, grab a t-shirt, and come be heard and be part of it. So we're really excited. And that's all I got for you today. Thank you, Solo. Thank you, everybody. And Grasshopper, as always, thank you. I'm going to roll us out of here with our outro. And so here we go. Sharing my screen. Right. Here we go.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
And then we sing this part together. We will sing our way to wholeness. We will sing our way to wholeness. And then again, we will sing our way to wholeness.
Thank you, thank you. Many mahalos.
And Emerald Cup, I mean, Freedom Grow has a drag car now. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 219. And don't forget all the festivals coming up this summer. And Cantana is in Seattle very, very soon. Hemp Hooray. And don't bogart that joint. Stash Wagner is licensing us this for the first song on our CD for our concert, Relief, in 2025. That's for sure. We're getting closer. I really want to let you know that I'm doing my best to hang with the administration that wants to decriminalize or reschedule marijuana. And there's Tommy and his son, and there's Tommy, so thanks to all the fathers and the OGs. So rescheduling it, no. Let's re-legalize it and don't criticize it. Be sure to go to relieffoundation.org and do support us. Don't forget, everybody, it's festival season. Emerald Cup is the 17th and 18th. Can you imagine the year is going so fast? This is the lineup. Check it out. In Oakland. I'm excited to see the gospel choir. Cannabis gospel choir? Is that what's going on? Hooray. We got a jingle, everybody. Pretty cool. So open the doors in 24, everybody. There's a little GoFundMe for Peter. If you really know what's good for Lyme's disease, bring it on. I heard that on our show today. And thank you so much, everybody. I'm going to unshare us here, and we're back in action. So we got CannaNurse, we got Lawrence from Whidbey Island. My friends have a house on Whidbey. I'll probably be seeing them in the next month or so. Otherwise, we'll get together, Lawrence. We'll take a boat. I'll walk on or something and come see you. Come pick me up at the ferry. And Solo, thank you so much. And everybody, it's been a pleasure. And that's all I got today. Hemp hemp hooray, everybody. Remember, 3 is weed. That's our new peace sign. And peace is 2 and F schedule 1. So 3, 2, 1, everybody. It's Jeff Eichen.
Aloha.
It's Jeff Eichen here.
Aloha.
Pohana, Powana, and Maui
Okay.
Wowie. And Maui Wowie.
That's right.
Love you all. See you
That's
soon,
right.
Lawrence. Give me a shout. All right.
Take care.